everyone, welcome to another episode of Empowering Conversations by Empower India, co-powered by the Filmsters. My name is Disha, Communications Manager at Empower India. I'm so glad that you're here. So, we all know being a teenager isn't easy. So much is changing. We all have experienced it. And it's often very hard to talk about what you're really feeling. And I believe many of us didn't grow up with someone who truly, understood, listened that exactly why we are having, and that's exactly why we are having this conversation. So, a little about us, Empower India. We have been working at the grassroots level for over 30 years, and we have been working closely with adolescents, especially girls in rural communities. Our focus has been on sanitation, education, life skills, and basically creating a space where adolescents can dream, lead, learn, and grow to be strong and confident individuals. And I'm also very happy to introduce to all our audiences to an organization called That Happiness Project, which has been founded and started by our today's guest, Bhavya Jain. She is an IU psychologist and integrative psychotherapist. Her work is about making therapy and mental health support more inclusive and accessible. From one on one sessions and school workshops to wellness programs for workplaces, her team at That Happiness Project is guided by a very powerful goal that is making the world better one session at a time. We are also joined by Anumara Baig, CEO of Empower India, who plays a key role in shaping the Setu program, which is the life skills program where adolescents in rural schools learn how to express themselves, manage their emotions, and make decisions so that they can believe in their potential through these life skill sessions. A warm welcome to you both. I'm so happy that you have got the chance to be here and join us for this conversation. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Disha. That was a lovely welcome, I believe.
Thank you, Disha. We are very excited to have this conversation today.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I really want to kick things off with a very simple question to both of you. So, and that question is, when you were at your teenage level, I think we all had experienced a tough day, right? And what was your go-to way to feel better? So, say for example, was it music, was it food, or maybe a good cry, or something totally unexpected? What was that one thing?
I
So,
can go in
Bhavya, can
first, Anumara, if you don't mind. So for me, it was majorly journaling. I have always had this one habit since I was very young that I used to journal a lot. And
I think we lost connection with her.
no worries. Technical glitches starting the live with that. But
Yeah.
no
So
worries.
how about I take this question and then
Yes,
Bhavya
please.
can join. So I think Bhavya has started the journey of very aptly dealing with emotions at a much younger age, because I actually started journaling a few years ago, and I realized how impactful it can be to for just sort of putting your thoughts, emotions out there. It's just like you're vomiting whatever there is in your head, and then you just calm down and you feel better. It actually works. But I think when I was much younger, for me, the best distraction from a stressful day would be watching television. It's not the greatest way. I think it's also very telling of, you're probably just pushing your emotions under the carpet and kind of getting a cut off. I don't know what it was, but I would say that was really how I regulated my emotions when I was feeling a bit overwhelmed.
oh, that's
Uh,
amazing.
Question,
That's
while you
amazing.
were, there was a glitch, so please go ahead.
Yeah. So what I was saying is my way of just healing would be, stepping into nature or just taking a long walk. Journaling has always been a habit that I've kept to up till date since I think some second or third grade that I've been following, which has always helped me, just get my thoughts in perspective, see what I want to do next. And that's how I've always been. So yeah, that's about me. And really interesting, Anmara, how you managed your emotions when you were a kid. It's interesting to know.
Yeah, I was just telling Disha that you had a much better way of managing, regulating emotions, and you started quite early. with a more
Yeah,
positive, in a positive direction.
correct.
Yeah.
Perfect. So that was kind of my icebreaker to, lead you all in the conversation. But thank you so much for your, insights. But moving forward, I really want to know that you, both the organizations, empowerHER and that Happiness Project, has an experience working with uh, young people and with a mixed group of like from all the age groups. So I want to know your experience. It could be from your sessions, workshops, or maybe in your lifetime you might have come across while working for your organizations. Is that a story or something your beneficiaries might have said that really made you stop and think? Yes, this is why I do what I do, and this is why we as an organization are doing this. Was there, something like that?
Yeah, so I have worked with children both underprivileged and from financially well off backgrounds. I've had that privilege to experience both these sects and understand how their emotions flow and how is it similar or different. So just to tell you that why it matters to do what I'm doing is in sessions as well, in individual therapy as well, even with adults, it comes up that we never felt heard before, we never felt seen before. That feeling of being heard, being seen, it is a very small thing which might get overlooked, but people haven't felt that in a long time. Children who are adolescents have not had that from their parents. They don't feel seen, they do not feel heard. They might have working parents, they might have parents with busy schedules. For underprivileged, their parents might be working to make the ends meet. But it's similar, feeling seen, feeling heard. That hunger for connection is what I've really seen that's not there.
Hmm. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
just to take what Bhavya said a little further, uh, generally when you reach adolescence, anyways, you feel that nobody understands you, and there is a sense of rebellion, and that's just natural and changes. But I think if I speak about in the more lower income context, I think girls have that feeling even more of not being heard, of not being seen. Since they're born in like a very patriarchal structure, largely,
Hmm.
um, it's they are brought up in a very disempowering
Hmm.
atmosphere,
Hmm.
uh,
Correct.
and just there's always a feeling that they are an afterthought. So it is extremely powerful when there is somebody who comes along and
Hmm.
is giving them the due attention and
Hmm.
making them feel seen and heard.
Hmm.
Um, I'll give you just a small example of one of the things why, what the question you asked in terms of, sort of reinforcing why we do what we do. Like there are plenty of things, but something that just really jumps up for me is during our sessions, one of the key modules is gender and safety. And within that module, we speak about gender based violence, we speak about harassment, sexual harassment, and sexual abuse as well. And typically, you'll find that there is so much shame attached to something like when this happens. Even in good, well-to-do, privileged families, there is less discussion about this. So
Hmm.
you can imagine in lower income communities, it's far more pronounced. So because we've created this safe space for these girls, we find quite often that they are coming and confiding in their trainers, our trainers. They call them
Absolutely.
BBs, and
Absolutely.
when I come to know about these times when this happens, that she says that this person in the shop makes me uncomfortable, touches me inappropriately, and we sort of deal with it. In But the realization that wow, this girl trusts us enough to come and say something, and she's being so bold and courageous. It all makes it worth it.
Yeah,
I,
absolutely.
yeah,
You're absolutely right. Like people come to us and say कि हम अपने मम्मी पापा से ये बात नहीं कर सकते हैं दीदी,
exactly.
लेकिन हम आपसे कर सकते हैं, हमें आपके साथ सही लगता है, हम ये बात आपके आगे रख सकते हैं, ऐसा काश हम अपने मम्मी पापा से भी बोल सकते. So that feeling of safety, that feeling of comfort, that feeling that they can come, this is a safe space, is something that also gives us the motivation to do it more. This is why our work matters.
Yeah.
And why you say this, it's like when we are working with these beneficiaries, they come from rural areas, they also come from urban areas. But that one similar thing that joins them together is actually, especially about adolescents, is getting heard, that someone is listening, someone is understanding. But we also had a recent conversation with on our empowering conversations, where we learned about with Varkaji, is there's no one such guideline as such for anyone to follow and feel okay, even if they're feeling low or overwhelmed. But as teenagers, they are struggling apne apne tarike se, right? Adolescents in the rural areas are struggling in their own way. Urban adolescents are struggling in their own way. They might be feeling stuck, anxious, or just feeling not okay. So, but is there like a simple thing that they could do that makes them feel more grounded or supported? I know there's no guideline as such कि ये करेंगे तो ठीक हो जाएगा, because not everything suits an individual. That may be coming from a specific scenario, but according to your experience, is there a thing that they could do that could help them in some way or the other?
The adolescents or the caretakers and their caregivers?
The adolescents.
They can definitely, try to maybe take a step back and think, what is it that I can do better in terms of what's going on with me? Maybe make two circles. This is something we also follow in therapy, making two circles and writing what is in my control in one, writing what is not in my control in the other, and focusing more your energy on what is in your control. What is it that you can change? And not focusing on what is not under my control. And if you see, till date, you have successfully overcome 100% of your challenges. 100% of your challenges is why you're here. So, what makes you think you won't be able to pass the next ones to come? It's not that
Great
hard. It's
exercise.
because in that moment, we are struggling mentally. But when we think of it this way, that till date, the challenges weren't small, they were still big, but I was able to overcome all.
That's actually very powerful, and I agree that there is building that awareness with young people that not that most things in life are not going to be in your control. The only thing you can control is how you respond to it.
Correct.
That awareness and that understanding, I think, will give young people growing up, going through many changes, a lot, the feeling of being very, very grounded. And
Absolutely.
also, I just want to add one thing, and this is again, you're the expert, Bhavya, you're the psychologist, but this is just something that I'm thinking about, that when you speak of being in control, it's not necessary, or the one thing that you, like a caregiver, could potentially tell somebody, a young person who's overwhelmed, in order for them to feel more in control. I think that just the concept of being in control, it's not one thing that
Correct.
it becomes an aha moment and you're like, okay, I understand this. I think being in control is a series of different tools that you have to learn over time. It's like
Absolutely.
resilience, for as example, is a like a muscle that you have to work on and build. It
Absolutely.
is through the challenges that you're going to be able to exercise this muscle, and then even decide for yourself that whether you can overcome those challenges and then feel in control. Unless you
Absolutely.
don't feel these challenges, how are you going to ever feel in control of
You're
things?
right. You're right. And
So
maybe I would add on one or two more things. There are many tools to make yourself feel grounded. But what is also important is to understand, if you see, the life graph is never a straight line. It goes up and down. If you see the ECG, it goes up and down. So if you don't have those ups and downs, are you even living life? That is one thing that all of us can also make those kids understand. And second is that, there's one technique called decatastrophizing, where we tell them, okay, let's sit down with whatever you're feeling and let us think of the worst possible scenario. In this case, we actually go there in that scenario imaginatively and think about what is the worst that can happen and how do we react to that worst. So when the situation actually unfolds, we're already prepared for the worst case scenario,
yeah,
and it isn't that hard to get out of what we're already going through. It becomes damn easy.
yeah. I think there is this very famous saying that I don't know the exact words, but it's basically that man suffers more in his head than in reality, and
Absolutely.
this is what it is.
That's correct. That's correct.
Very true.
Be-
Now,
yeah.
you were saying something, Bhavya? You
No,
want
no,
to add
please,
something on that?
no, please go on.
So, I wanted to ask another thing. Now, this is for adolescents. Now,
Hmm.
there are a lot of parents and caretakers that also want to get involved. They care, but they don't
Hmm.
know how to speak. They don't know what are the exact words that we should start with to
Hmm.
have a conversation with our adolescents. So, what's that one sentence or maybe a conversation starter that they can use with teens, which can make them feel honest and make the adolescents feel safe? So, is there anything?
Absolutely. So, what you're saying, Disha, is absolutely critical, because how else will they learn that, this is a safe space for me and this is where I can come and talk and I'll be heard? So, I think the very first thing is not being pushy. If we come off as, no, you tell me what's going on with you, it'll, make them feel cornered. That why is this person pushing me to share whatever's going on with me? Rather, you give them that space to come to you and talk to you. And how do we do that? We tell them that, see, I'm not any other adult who's there to lecture you or tell you what's right or wrong. I am not here to fix you. I am not here to do any of that. All I'm here for is to give you that support, tell you that I am here and we can talk when you are ready.
Yeah,
You have that space. Just know that I am here. I'm sitting, even in sessions sometimes. What we do is we just sit and tell them we are here for you. You can talk when you think you're comfortable to talk. We can also spend the whole session just sitting if that is what the client wants. It's all about
Am
giving
I?
them comfort and building onto that trust. That is
hmm.
the game.
Yeah. Um. Again, I'm just sort of speaking from experience and not from a place of you know uh, any learning per se, professional learning. But I would think that, especially with adolescents, there is a huge fear of judgment and not being accepted for the way they are, especially in that age of rapid change. Um,
Absolutely.
so even whoever the caregiver is, could be, well, parents mostly. if there'll be plenty of mistakes and there'll be plenty of challenges and all of that happens during this phase, but and you have to, as a parent, you're also guiding them in certain ways, and you have to put your foot down in certain ways. But
Absolutely.
at the end of it, if you're giving that child the security that irrespective of what happens, I may agree with you, I may not agree with you, I may even sort of, for a lack of a better word, punish you. But I want, you should know that you are loved the way you are. I think that
Absolutely. What you
that
said is very powerful.
that security really can um, sort of break the barriers for children to know, irrespective, I can go back to my parents if
Any day.
like
Yeah.
something really, I really mess up, they are going to have my back. And I think that level of acceptance and security
Very
uh,
important. Is
can
very important.
really, you know, sort of avert plenty of disasters. A lot of times young people are so conflicted, they don't they don't feel like they can go back to their parents, and they take very extreme measures, and we all know that. And I feel something like this could really help with that.
Absolutely. It's all about the parents building that trust and comfort. If they always keep scolding or mocking, that look what you're doing, look how much, what you've done, what look at your grades, look at this, look at that, that will not help. That will not take you anywhere. So there's also a term that I've previously talked about, which is lighthouse parenting. It's not helicopter parenting where we're circling on the kid's head all the time. You give
Hmm.
them that space. You give them space to make their own mistakes.
Hmm.
They will
Very.
learn. They will learn.
Bhavya, I know that that happiness project is having a lot of workshops, one-on-one sessions, and therapy sessions to be exact. And but looking at the current scenario, there's a lot of fear around the word therapy and the whole process. And many people only think is हमें तभी जाना चाहिए जब बहुत ज्यादा हालत हमारी खराब हो गई हो, right?
Yes,
So that's the notion around therapy.
absolutely.
But in your work or in your experience that you have worked for so many years, how do you think we could help young people, especially adolescents, see therapy as something very normal? Also, with the parents and caregivers, that it is normal and it's healthy. It's not like going to the doctor कि अरे बहुत हालत खराब हो गई अब जाना चाहिए. So, what's your thought on that?
I think it's very important because they are basically the future and they are what is going to shape the next generation. It's very important to, guide them, and how to guide them, I think, can be that making them understand it's hygiene, just like you do your dental hygiene every day. Keeping your mind calm and cleansing your mind is also very important. If you don't brush for 10 days, you know what will happen to your teeth. Similarly, if you don't talk to someone, if you don't unburden, if you keep accumulating things from your surroundings and you don't cleanse it, you do not talk about it, it's going to do the same thing like 10 days of no brushing is going to do to your teeth. Making them understand the importance of therapy, that it's not stigma, it's not a taboo, it's not that mentally ill people or mentally, the challenged people can only go there who are having some severe disorders. It's for something as basic as, today I don't feel like doing anything, or I feel very angry, or I have that a lot of heavy emotion in me and I need talking. That is also therapy, and that is important. Or I need someone to just sit with me for an hour and not say anything is also therapy.
I was actually reading something on how our brain works. So brains actually can't feel pain. So that also means like the mind doesn't have any neurons that could, or sensations of pain. But
Yeah,
that directly affects our body, right?
correct.
Because the pain that we feel is in our body and not in our mind or brain. So
Absolutely.
rightly said, we should take care about it. But when we are talking about adolescents, we are also working with rural adolescents. So the
Correct.
whole concept of therapy doesn't
It's
exist.
changed. Doesn't exist. You're absolutely right. So when we work with underprivileged, we don't always talk about therapy. If I've worked with so many children, it's not about therapy anymore. It's about, even creating awareness about basic things, as menstrual hygiene for girls. It's also about just creating awareness of how why is it important to respect each other, respecting the other gender, because it's not just about fixing them. It's about preventing things from happening in the future. And so much can happen by changing or modeling mindset from the onset. It's not about therapy, it's about building a mindset that will eventually help not just them, but themselves and others around them in the future. Taking the problem from the grassroots, doing certain role plays, doing certain focus group discussions, even with the underprivileged, have worked beautifully for us.
I
And
agree.
I guess, please go ahead, Anna.
To your point, Bhavya, I do feel that the traditional sense or the definition of therapy, particularly in rural areas, due to the lack of exposure, may not be accepted easily. But from a point of view of if we want to be able to at least instill certain aspects of therapy and mental well-being, and again, therapy is the wrong word, but sort of mental well-being, it has to somehow be integrated in their school curriculum, where
Absolutely.
in very simple ways these tools are transferred to them, where they can start internalizing and practicing these tools, which eventually will lead to a more balanced way of looking at life, to be able to manage their and regulate their emotions more effectively, to understand that all emotions are normal to feel. There is no shame in feeling anger. It is really how you are managing or manifesting that needs to be
Right,
addressed. So
rightly said. Hmm.
I think these are things which, if there is a certain understanding from the time that they're much younger, that would really help in even sort of reducing whatever challenges they might have as they
Correct.
grow older.
Correct.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I think both the organizations EmpowerHER India and That Happiness Project is actually working on the same thing on the same level. And
Nice.
when we talk about the rural communities or maybe the remote areas where we couldn't reach for mental well-being, these are life skills are one of the smallest steps that we take
Absolutely.
for
It's
mental
very
wellness.
important. It's about, creating a better society around you. And why not start with people who cannot, they're not privileged enough to get to these sources? Why not do that bit
Yeah,
which you're supposed to? That's your responsibility as a human, to make sure you can help those in need.
correct.
Perfect. True, right. Very true. Um, and if you would like to give like a message to these adolescents on mental well-being or the whole concept around it, or maybe how they could take charge of their mind, their brains, their health, what could it be?
I think from my side, it's just that, just believe in yourself, have that courage, and be kind. I think you have that courage and be kind to others around you, nothing will go wrong. Be kind to yourself as well while you're being kind to others. That is what is important. That self compassion is also very important. Self criticizing, we have to look forward from self criticizing, self compassion, self kindness, and kindness to those around you, along with having that courage, is my message to everyone.
Uh-huh.
I will just borrow what Bhavya said in the, when we began this conversation, because I think that is really the most powerful message we can give adolescents, that, kind of break it down and see. whenever you face a challenge, what is in your control and what's not in your control, and focus on what is in your control. And and accept that there are many things which you have no, you cannot have impact on. And I think that itself, that realization will give them a lot of strength. So that is what I would honestly tell young people.
And I feel that's not just for young people, that's also for the people
Yes,
of all age
absolutely.
groups.
That's for everyone.
Absolutely.
That
It's
goes
for
for everyone.
everybody. So true.
Absolutely.
And I just want to share that, Anamara, once you say that, because you're saying this, taking control is, and you said the same thing to me when I was also in a very bad place, a couple of months ago. And that's when I realized, oh, this is not something. And Bhavya, because you shared you're making two circles, what are the things in your control, what are the things that are not into your control? That is something I feel I have also tried unintentionally, not intentionally sitting down.
Yeah.
And because Anamara, you shared the same thing, that has I could say, like, to all the audiences who would be watching this later, it's a tried and tested thing
It
from the
works.
moderator here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It works. It works.
It works, it definitely works. And just speaking about it also helps a lot. So
Absolutely.
one thing that I would also tell our audience is, even if you don't want to sit down, write about it, just speak. That would also help. That helps a lot. And I think those insights that you leaders have shared today will not only help the adolescents but also the people like us, or older people. It is something, a tool, or I can't say a guideline, but maybe yes, a guideline that is helpful for all age groups. So thank you so much to both of you for
Thank you
sharing
so
your
much.
insights
Both of
and
you
the
as well.
stories. And that brings us to the end of this conversation and today's episode of Empowering Conversations. A big, big, big thank you to both of you, Bhavya and Anamara, for joining us and sharing everything that you have during this conversation. Um, and to our audiences who are watching this conversation and would watch it later, we would like you to follow empower India and support that happiness project. You can go on their social media channels, shower them with likes, shares, and love all over that
Thank you
you
so
can.
much.
And that's it. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channels, because that is also important to spread awareness and spread the love. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. And
Thank
until
you
next
so
time, I
much.
just want to tell that we all should take care of mind. And like Bhavya said, be kind to yourself, be kind to other people. Keep listening, and especially keep listening to the voices, the young voices around you. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Anushka, for
Thank
having me.
you,
Thank
Bhavya.
you for having me every
Pleasure.
time.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Take care. Yeah.